Viralnater presents The Scene That Ended Harvey. Are you sure your family can win Family Feud? You might be shocked to learn that it takes a lot more than just being really nice and thinking very quickly. There are a lot of rules that contestants have to follow before they even meet Steve Harvey. A poll says you'll want to know all these rules about Family Feud before you get your team together. The process starts with an online application. If you're sick of watching Family Feud on TV and want to play, now's the best time. And good news, it's pretty easy to ask for help. To start, all you have to do is go to the show's website. After you enter your information and send it, you're all set. There aren't even any due dates or limits because they take applications all the time. Send in a video for sure. The process doesn't have any tricks or shocks. It's that easy. All you have to do is fill in your name, address, city, state, and some written information about your family. You can still make your family stand out in one more way. It's not required, but it is strongly suggested that you send in a tryout film. Before your family even goes to the audition stage, it helps directors see how fun they are. It's all about having faith. For people who are shy and quiet, going on a fast-paced game show like Family Feud might not be the best idea. It's on TV, so the whole country can see it, right? Whether it's on your application or in a Zoom interview with producers, you should be as bold as possible in your audition video. On the show's website, head of casting Sarah Dansby said, "We're looking for high energy, but it all comes down to confidence. We need people who won't freeze up on stage so we can make an exciting show." Those who make it through the cut go to the auditions. People used to try out for roles in tryouts that went to places all over the United States before the pandemic. All of that changed, though, and so did the main part of the Family Feud casting process. After the written application process, you and your family will be asked to join a Zoom call to try out in front of producers. During the call, they may ask you to play a fake game round to see how you'd do on the show. Do some research first. The people who make the show want to make sure that everyone who gets on is a real Family Feud fan. If you've already applied, make sure you know how the show works and how to play the game. The official website says, along with energy and enthusiasm, we also look for people who can play the game and come up with answers. And if you love the show for a specific reason, let us know. No big families, it's only for 5 people. If you have a big family, everyone might want to meet Steve Harvey, so it might be hard to narrow down your family squad to just 5 people. Not every family member can get to make their TV debut on the show, and if you're a family of 6, one unfortunate player will miss out. Families of 6 can audition together, but if your family gets cast, only 5 can play. They'll help narrow it down. If someone isn't sure which members to choose for their fabulous 5, they won't have to make the hard choice alone. We can imagine the arguments that could happen. The producers will give each family of 6 some non-negotiables to help cut one member from the team. For example, they liked Danielle Green's parents' and brothers' unique backstories, so they knew they'd be in the final 5. Don't be afraid of the camera. It's a lot of fun to watch Steve Harvey joke around with both the contestants and the live studio audience. You don't have to be a natural in front of the camera to be a good contestant, but someone who freezes up when everyone is looking at them won't be what the show's looking for. Producers want to see high energy when the cameras are rolling and have a great stage presence. Anyone of any age can join. Some of the best-known game shows in the country have only adults in them, but Family Feud is different because it's a family show. There are no minimum age requirements to join, but the application says you have to be over 18 to apply, and if you're under 18, a parent or guardian must send it in for you. The producers also suggest that contestants be at least 15 years old because some of the questions can get tough. You need to be linked. It might be fun to watch Family Feud with a group of friends and compete to win big money, but that's not how the game is supposed to be played. There's a reason it's called Family Feud. 2 real families are competing for cash. Each team must have 5 family members who are related by blood, marriage, or legal adoption. Politicians are not allowed. The show asked teams of contestants from all walks of life. The eligibility requirements are pretty broad, but some strict ones will get you and your family turned down pretty quickly. For example, you can't be on the show if you're a politician or a candidate for political office. No veterans of game shows. If you watch a lot of daytime TV or game shows, you may recognize some of the contestants who appear on different shows over and over again. This show makes sure that doesn't happen. Also, anyone who's been on more than 2 game shows in the last year can't be on Family Feud, even if they didn't win the money the first 2 times. It's been 10 years since the last contestant did well. There's something comforting about Family Feud that makes you want to watch every episode. There are probably thousands of people who want to win the jackpot, so the production team has to get through a lot of families. That's why anyone on a team who's been on the show before has to wait 10 years before they can play the feud again. Friends and family won't get you cast. If you've worked in TV before, you might think that anyone who knows someone who works for or owns a business with Steve Harvey or one of his production companies has an advantage when applying to game shows or reality TV shows. But there's no favoritism going on here. The application is very strict and doesn't let anyone who works for or owns a business with Steve Harvey or one of his production companies. Just for U.S. citizens. Family Feud is an American show that's been on since 1976 and has had 23 seasons so far. Other countries may have copied it with different names, but Family Feud is uniquely American. Please don't plan a vacation in the U.S. in hopes of getting a chance to play fast money. You can only apply if you're a U.S. citizen or have permission to work in the U.S. A good team works together a lot. Some people are naturally good at quizzes, and people who are blessed by the game show gods on the big day. Either way, you and your family only get one chance at the jackpot, so teams should make sure they're at their best before the big day. Families can watch old episodes or even play the board game to prepare for the real show. Get rid of your nerves during practice. When it comes to making Family Feud, the production team is like a well-oiled machine. But like any other game show or movie, they can't just start filming and hope for the best. Former contestants say that before the real show starts, they play a whole practice run mock game to make sure that the lighting, sound effects, and other technical parts are working. That's when you can get rid of your pre-show nerves. What the poll says. The old saying, "survey says," is used a lot. But have you ever wondered where or who they ask for the survey answers? A Wall Street Journal article says that the show uses a polling firm called Applied Research West to get its survey data. This firm calls random people and asks them questions without telling them what the answers are for. Questions are then chosen at random. A busy day of filming is on the way. As you might guess, the taping schedule is anything but calm. If you make it to the all-important filming stage, you'll be busy all day. Former contestants say that producers film anywhere from 4 to 6 episodes in one day. It's a very fast-paced environment, and if your family team moves on to film another episode, it'll happen right away. After each round, if there isn't an ad break, teams are whisked backstage for a quick water break. You do need to clap for each answer. One of the funniest things about Family Feud is seeing how silly people get when they don't know what to say. Sometimes it's more entertaining to see people act silly than to see teams win every time. Some families have even been kicked off the show for not being lively and entertaining enough. Believe it or not, contestants are told to stay positive and cheer and clap for every answer, no matter how bad it is. People can talk to Steve Harvey at any time. Steve Harvey has been the happy and bubbly host of Family Feud since 2010, taking over from John O'Hurley. His funny one-liners and banter with the contestants are a big part of the show's appeal. He may be a celebrity host, but he's also just as normal and friendly as you'd expect. Former contestant Libby Sheridan told Fox 57 that one reason filming takes so long is because Harvey likes to meet and get to know each contestant. Don't hit the podium no matter what. One of the most famous parts of the show is when the two heads of the family compete to see who can give the highest scoring answer and win the round. When it's time to stand at the famous podium, nerves are at an all-time high. If you're wondering what's the right way to stand at the podium, producers will tell you one golden rule. In no way, shape, or form hit the podium. So when you're getting ready to hit the buzzer, make sure you don't miss it. Let Steve finish the question every time. You can always tell who knows what they're talking about and who's just going with the first thing that comes to mind when it's time to answer the big questions. But there's another important rule that can't be broken during any of the buzzer rounds. Don't buzz in before Steve Harvey finishes asking the question. It's been seen before, but it's seriously rude to talk over the host. Always look at it. Once you know how the game is played, it's time to think about strategy. Teamwork is a big part of the show, so if you want to get big points on the scoreboard, make sure everyone is always paying attention. Look at what your opponents are doing even when it's not your turn. If they get 3 strikes, a steal could be the key to getting ahead on the scoreboard. Pick your lineup with care. Success on Family Feud takes more strategy than you might think. Families try all sorts of things to win the money, and the Fleet family, who won Family Feud Canada in 2017, said that the position of their lineup made all the difference. They told CBC that they put their fastest-thinking team members in front and trained them to answer questions quickly without getting confused. Put people who think creatively in the middle. Moving down the line, picking the family lineup wisely seems to work, and for many winners, nothing is random. For the players in the middle, quantity is more important than quality. The Fleet family explained that the trick is to put the calmest and most creative thinkers in the middle. They can come up with multiple answers when Steve comes up, even if they're not the best ones. People who work well under stress are put last. You might think it's just a silly, family-friendly game show, but these family strategies show that it's so much more than that. The last person in line is just as important as the first person. The person who can do well under pressure should be at the end. That way, they'll be ready for sudden death lineups, where getting to the buzzer first is the key to winning. This person won't get nervous when it comes down. Prepare to be asked rude things. Even though Family Feud isn't as serious as some other game shows, the funny and often rude questions are just as important. It's the funny questions that make the answers so funny that the show works. The material's a little more, well, not so politically correct, but it's fun, executive producer Gaby Johnson told the Daily Beast. So don't be surprised when something crazy is asked. Don't try to get fast money by lying. The jackpot in fast money is only won by the team at the top of the leaderboard, so if your family gets to play, it's an honor to be one of the 2 team members chosen. The producers do everything they can to make sure there's no cheating. Each player does the round on their own, and the person who's not playing sits backstage with noise-canceling headphones on so they can't hear their family members' answers. Get your best outfits ready for the camera. If you've ever been on TV, you know that every little thing is taken care of. For example, they don't let you appear on screen in any old clothes. If you make it onto the show, you'd better get your wardrobe in order. Each contestant has to bring 3 different outfits, and solid colors and bright colors are best. By bringing backup clothes, producers can pick their favorites. And don't worry, production calls each family member. Everyone does their dress and hair. You might think that winning the money on Family Feud is your family's best chance at becoming famous on TV, but it doesn't come with all the glitz and glam that you'd expect from a TV studio. All contestants have to bring their clothes and do their own hair and makeup. They don't expect anything fancy, and former contestants have said that there are professionals on hand for touch-ups between takes. All the phones stay hidden. The team does everything possible to make sure no cheating or collaboration is going on behind the scenes. As soon as you walk into the studio, your cell phone is taken away. This means you won't be able to take any sneaky selfies with Steve Harvey, but you will be able to remember your time on the show. The staff takes pictures throughout the day and sends you an album before your episode airs, so you have something to look back on. Everyone gets a break during commercials. You may have noticed that game shows like Family Feud have a lot of commercial breaks. It can be annoying to watch, but Steve Harvey says we'll be right back for a good reason. When the show cuts to a commercial break for viewers, the contestants and host also get a well-deserved break. During a commercial break, people get water and go to the bathroom. You don't have to bring your snacks. We already know that filming an episode of Family Feud for one family takes all day. You don't have to worry about bringing your snacks, though, because the Family Feud team will not let anyone go hungry on set. According to former contestants, all contestants are given free breakfast and lunch. No one has to go hungry. The show pays for all your travel costs. The show gets applications from families from all over the country and from all walks of life. However, these days it only films in Atlanta, Georgia and Los Angeles, California. If you don't live near either of those cities, don't be afraid to send in your application. One former contestant, Danielle Green, said that the show pays for all their travel costs, including hotels and flights. You could win a lot of money and it's a fun gig. Guests don't travel free. Individuals with large families or groups of friends who wish to observe the live studio audience may find it difficult. You and your 4 teammates won't be covered by the production crew, but they will cover any additional family members or visitors. Seating in the audience is free, but transportation and lodging are your burden. Producers have the final say. The show's bizarre questions typically elicit unexpected replies. So when host Steve Harvey turns away from the camera and asks a contestant to rephrase something, he's not simply being tough. 2 executive producers evaluate Harvey's replies and tell him right or wrong. Even if you disagree, their word is final. All go home with something. The fast money round after the program awards cash. Some years $5,000, others $10,000. Despite losing in the last round, you'll still take home something. Consolation reward goes to losers. Her family lost and received a $500 debit card, according to one competitor. Thought Catalog claims losing families get $5 for each point. You must wait for payment. Money gained by beating the odds can't be spent immediately. Once you leave the studio, the money won't flow into your bank account. A previous participant stated his family won $22,000 but didn't get paid for 90 days. Nice to anticipate. You must share the money. Your team wins money on the program, and the producers don't give it to one family member. Nobody will quarrel or argue with siblings or parents and kids here. Income tax applies to the prize money, which is automatically divided 5 ways. Even if you didn't get the final round answers, everyone receives the same amount. If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon.